you 20% minority right there. So that captures the affirmative action basically quota for corporate America. And I was like, the fact that it was so spot on with it, I was dying laughing. I'm like, it just told on itself. It told on Meta. Like, this is what
Mm-hmm.
corporate America does. And you just because you claim you have a diverse team, that diverse team doesn't address the diverse component that you just created. Like a single black mom, there's no black women on the team. So how can you identify with it? You
Right.
know?
Well, and especially I think it's problematic when you think about, how oddly specific that is, and then when you think about some of the, thought processes, some of the things that you hear and see, some of the preconceived notions about, single mothers and what that looks like, and again, I think that's one of those kind of like those what they call the feelings that it's like, yeah, and again, out of all facets of, or the multitude of life experiences that Black women have, why would that be the one that you would latch on to? I mean, and again, I was raised by a single mother, so it's no shade there.
Right.
But I also am not ignorant to the fact of how a big part of America or society, period, feels about, the single mom. And again, how oftentimes that moniker is used as you know, a bad thing or like an insult almost to the Black community. So yeah, that again, sometimes I think just too much of a good thing can be, dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Can y'all hear
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can hear you.
All right, perfect. Let me see.
I'm
I
curious what you thinking over there, Audubon.
have a question. I came with my questions. I
Uh-huh.
stay ready. Okay, hold on. So what have you found with like I know that coming from our community and then I come from a different communities where my family's African and then but I was raised in the South and I also go to a Christian church. So in the African community, AI and introducing like what your program basically introduced is very like they push us. And this is no offense to anyone, but I also know in like our community, even the church community, it's almost like a stigma, like, oh, learn about technology and coding and even AI. That's for lack of a better word, that's the devil's world,
No,
or
yeah.
you're opening up. Like, what are the challenges that you are facing with that community and with parents, guardians, just opening up and trying to for you to see like this is where society is going. This is where we're headed.
It's interesting you say that. I think one of the biggest challenges that I've had has been exactly that. We've is getting the and I'll just say the diaspora community. So because again, it's with I think people that have origins, that are, whether it be first generation or even native Black Americans. I think a big part of it is that we don't um there's a lot of distrust with technology because we've seen
Yeah.
we're not mastering it. um and I think it can be a very valid point. My biggest talking points with parents is that it's wishing it away is not going to make it somehow disappear. And so the thing of it is that we do a very, very good job of letting our kids consume technology, but getting parents to see that it's the production of it that gets to understand. I mean, and I use TikTok. I used to try to come from a vantage point because what's also interesting is that many times these are the same communities who allow kids to sit in front of a tablet all day as a form of entertainment.
Babysitting.
What
More
I mean, and
babysitting.
again,
Yeah.
and so
Right.
what I tend to find is that that I will have people that'll say, "Oh, he or she is good in technology because they know how to use the tablet." I said, but the reason that we want the benefit for Black and brown kids with computer science is not necessarily just the coding, it's the problem solving, it's the collaboration, it's the, you know, the rigor or the
Thank you.
you know, the perseverance that it builds, because when you make mistakes, you know, it's a process. And again, you know, trying to explain to parents that the brain is a muscle. So the same way, and also to your point,
Yeah.
you know, we have students that one of my, I would say probably within the Black American community is combating the sports, because we will have parents that will pay tens and $20,000s of dollars for their children to compete within, you know, these various athletic leagues. And so what I tell them is that we know that there's a 99.9% chance, unless your child is living on a remote island, that they will come in contact with technology. I don't care what field, even if they are blessed enough to become a, you know, a NFL star, NBA star. But it's interesting, and I think it's troubling, honestly, that there's so much merit put into that. You know, and again, I was a PE major by trade, so computer science was definitely an afterthought. My our father is a computer scientist, and I initially wanted no parts. But once I kind of saw what an equity issue it was when I did start teaching computer science, and I'm like, yeah, we can't just have Black and brown kids looking at the front of these screens. And
Exactly.
what I use them is the TikTok thing. And I said, you know, all of the beautiful part about Black and brown children is we naturally possess their creativity.